here's what they have to remind us. Here's what they have to say in this next paragraph. The Bible indicates that all three persons of the Trinity, is that hard to read when I highlight all of that? Sorry about that. Let's just go like that. Then the Bible indicates that all three persons of the Trinity were involved in Jesus' resurrection. I bet you didn't know that, but that's true. All three persons were involved. Galatians 1:1 says that the Father raised Jesus from the dead. 1 Peter 3:18 says that the Spirit raised Jesus from the dead, and also Romans 1:4. And note that Romans 8:11 clearly says that God will resurrect believers through His Spirit. And then John 2:19, Jesus actually predicts that He will raise Himself from the dead. Also reference John 10:18. So that's what John Piper was talking about last week when he talks about, Jesus saying, I have the power to lay down my life. I have the power to take it up again. No man takes it from me, blah, blah, blah. So when we answer the question of who resurrected Jesus, we can say that God did. And I think that's the best kind of straightforward, no-nonsense answer. We say that God did. But notice the equivocation on the word God. And by that, we can mean it was the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. There's our equivocation. There's our makru, right, or merely an apparent contradiction as a result of unarticulated equivocation. We say God did, but then we have other passages that say that the Spirit did and that Jesus had the power to resurrect Himself. Is there a contradiction in the Bible? Is it hopelessly contradictory, like some skeptics would say? Or are we to better understand that the Bible is revealing to us a complex God who is made of one what God and three persons, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. In this example, we have to remind ourselves of this over and over again. In this picture, God as one what is a description of His ontology. It's a description of His nature. It's a description of, it's a study on the nature of God. That's what we mean by ontological Trinity. Ontology deals with the definition of a being, or beings, or the makeup, or the constitution, or how a thing is composed or put together, or how it's defined in and of itself. That's what we mean by ontological Trinity. What's God's composition, right? What does God's stuff made up of? What is godliness? What is the Godhead made up of? By comparison and sometimes or contrast, we have the economic Trinity. Economic Trinity, don't worry, I'll put slides on the screen for those of you in post-production. Those of you in my live class, you can't see this. But when we talk about economic Trinity or Trinity of economies, we're talking about the roles and functions that God plays in the world and in the universe. So when we're talking about that, we bring in the discussion of Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. And so that's when we talk about the three who's. So one what is ontological discussion. Three who's is economic discussion. It's important as we read through the Bible and we encounter any given passage that we stop and kind of ask ourselves, is this a passage about the ontology of God? Or is this a passage about the economies, the economic Trinity? And the reason that's important is that will help us not get tripped up on the seeming contradictions and or ambiguities and or cherry-picking passages to make them say what we want them to say. So this Got Questions has some more to say. I'll just read the rest of the answer since it's not very long.